Dr. Gautam Das from Kolkata, India. I'm using CoolRF since last 4 years and I found it very useful. So CoolRF and standard RF have some basic difference. So if we are going back how radio frequency works in pain management, we know that radio frequency produces a heat lesion, and that heat lesion is going to ablate the nerves, and for that we need to place the RF probe close to the nerve. And when we are using a standard RF, so this distance should be somewhere between 2 to 4 millimeter. If our needle is placed beyond 4 millimeter, even though we are close to the nerve, there will be no lesion. In contrast, when you are using a CoolRF, the size of the lesion is much bigger, and even if the nerve is little away, the chances of success is going to increase. Size of the lesion for cooled radio frequency is going to be somewhere between 12 millimeter to 15 millimeter. So even if the nerve is little away from our radio frequency cannula, even then it is going to catch the nerve and chances of the success is going to increase. Second important advantage of the cooled radio frequency is that it produces a spherical size of the lesion. Spherical size of the lesion means the angle independent lesion. That means, suppose I am giving an example. So when we are using conventional radio frequency for denervation of the facet joint, then because the shape of the lesion is cylindrical along with the shaft of the needle, so what we need to do, we need to place the needle like this. So if this angle is not maintained, then what will happen? The nerve passes like this and needle must be horizontal, otherwise failure is sure. But when we are using the cooled radio frequency, my needle can be placed in any angle. I can place the needle like this, I can place the needle like this, I can place the needle like this, because it is going to produce a large spherical lesion which makes the procedure a sure shot. Success is certain. And that makes the procedure extremely simple. Particularly, I'll be telling for the newcomers who are not well versed with the radio frequency techniques, they can do it easily with a high success rate. Because we pain physicians always prefer to put the needle perpendicular. That makes the technique easier. So this makes the cooled radio frequency the most effective. So operational failure is not there. So not just the size of the listener that is important. In my opinion, this makes the cooled radio frequency different from the conventional radio frequency. So the chances of the failure of the conventional radio frequency is very high, not just because of the shape of the lesion, size of the lesion, it is also because of the angle is important for the conventional radio frequency, which is not at all important for the cooled radio frequency. So the only thing where the cooled radio frequency, we have to be cautious, where we don't need a large size lesion. Say for example, if I am doing it in a Gasserian ganglion, we don't want a very large size lesion. So apart from it, almost all indications, the cooled radio frequency is extremely good, because the reason what I just now told, because the angle is not important and size of the lesion is larger. So initially when cooled radio frequency came, that time we knew that the most important indication is the sacroiliac joint. So in fact, when we read the literature, when we knew about the cooled radio frequency at the beginning of our career, we knew that it is most important for the sacroiliac joint, because sacroiliac joint is supplied by a lot of lateral branches, starting from the L4 to S4, and individual picking up the nerve is impossible. So where we are doing the carpet bombing type of lesion from the ala of the sacrum up to the lower part of the sacroiliac joint, and there the cooled radio frequency came with the highest level of the evidence. But later on, more and more studies are coming, people are using for the other indications, and we came to know that it can be used for a lot of other different indications. Like if I am talking about my practice, I'll be telling facet joint is one of the extremely good conditions where the cool radiofrequency is very useful. And as I told you, it also reduces the total procedural time, because normally when you are doing it for the conventional radiofrequency, we are doing 2-3 listens together, so that the failure rate is not there. Here only one listen is enough, because you are having a large size of the lesion. The technique is easy, you can do it in the tunnel vision perpendicular to the nerve, you do it, so it can be done very easily, very quickly. This is one important area which can be done with the lumbar, but nowadays even in the cervical areas also the cool radiofrequency can be done. Apart from these, of course, there are a lot of evidences in favor of the genicular nerve ablations for the knee joint, the articular branches for the hip joint pain. I have a lot of experience in doing the hip joint radiofrequency, the articular branch of the hip joint, particularly the femoral and the obturator nerve. It gives extremely good results. It is also very useful for the shoulder joints. We have done several cases for the shoulder joint also, which is also giving the extremely good results. So, in my opinion, the cool radiofrequency can be used almost in all other conditions except for the gastrin ganglion. So, as a whole, if you are looking about the thermal ablation of the nerve, it produces the second degree and the third degree nerve lesions. So, second degree and third degree nerve lesion is going to give a long-term pain relief. So, how long? Again, it varies from person to person. At least 1.5 years, and sometimes we have seen the pain relief is up to 5 years. So, it varies from the person to person as well as the different indications. Like if we are talking about the sacroiliac joint, if we are talking about the knee joint, so average pain relief durations might be 1.5 to 2 years. But for the other conditions like the facet joints and some other indications, this duration of pain relief might be longer than the 2 years also. But still now, based on our experience of around 4 years, we can say that at least 1.5 to 2 years pain relief is there. But in my opinion, most of the situation, it is even longer than 2 years. Cryoablation is another technique of doing the nerve ablations. So, cryoablation, or it is also called the cryoneurolysis, is another useful technique. So, here when you are using the radiofrequency, there we are using the heat to ablate the nerve. In contrast, when you are using the cryoneurolysis, we are using extreme cold, approximately -80 degree, to ablate the nerve. So, when we are ablating the nerve using the extreme cold at -80 degree, it causes second degree lesion. So, second degree lesion, one of the advantage of second degree lesion is when the nerve gets regenerated, the regeneration is perfect, but at the same time at the expense of the duration of pain relief. So, the duration of pain relief in the cryoneurolysis is much shorter compared to that of the radiofrequency. So, both radiofrequency as well as the cryoneurolysis has its own advantages and disadvantages. We have to individualize that what should be the best option for that particular patient. Cryoneurolysis can also produce a large size lesion, but as I told earlier, that the duration of pain relief is shorter if you are compared with the radiofrequency lesion.